immortal souls, living life on the edge, no regrets, no control, dying oh so young. Nothing is real, nothing to fear, just burn like a flame and go out. Oh, where did it all go wrong? Didn't we have it all? Now it's all gone. Oh, it was the perfect dream, nothing we couldn't be, but it's all over now. Look at us now, what a waste, what a crime, how could we fall so far? 'Cause the world was ours. The paper of cracks can't hold us together no more. Now it's all come crashing down. Nothing is real, nothing to feel, just burn like a flame and go out. Oh, where did it all go wrong? Didn't we have it all? Now it's all gone. Oh, it was a perfect dream, nothing we couldn't be, but it's all over now.
I started on the bench, so thank Bucks for starting me on the bench. That was nice of him. Literally, the first ball that got kicked out, I was under him, just try to mark it, and the bloke sort of come back and try to spoil it and just fell on me, and my leg just buckled underneath me.
Swan came on, and Dane Swan got smashed in his first contest. He's in trouble, Dane Swan's. Bad news for the Pies.
When I went down, I heard a pop, so I was like, that doesn't sound right. The doc ran over and said, get up, and I think I told him, mate, just relax. I think I'm hurt a little bit, so I won't be getting up just now. So I got myself up, and they said, are you right? I said, no, I'm not.
He doesn't stay down like that.
He's hardened, Swanee. He doesn't show when he's hurt.
Carried me off, and then sort of walking okay. I was like, it's a bit sore, but then a couple of steps in, up the top of my leg where I could feel something not right. I could feel the bone moving and sliding a bit, and I was like, oh, something's not right in the top of my leg. Apparently it was a pretty easy thing to diagnose. He said I fractured my fibula up here, so that's what I was thinking of, just a broken leg, maybe a couple of ligaments, but they're fine to deal with, I can deal with them. About them, it was sore where the ankle was not meant to be sore, and so we went and got it x-rayed. Found out that I'd broken my 3, 4, 5 metatarsal. They said that's not too bad. It's that Linz Frank ligament that is the pain in the ass if you do that, and they couldn't really tell, so we had to go get a MRI or something in Melbourne. The doc gave me a call afterwards, and then I kind of knew. Completely fucked my foot. I did a good job, and went and seen the surgeon. Actually went through what it is and the process that I'll be going through, and a bit of the timeline for recovery and things we can do to maybe speed it up. Probably then is when I realised the significance of the injury. I go from the bed to the couch to the bed, and have a shower every now and then, and have something to eat. I can get a little bored, and as much as I'd have thought sitting on the couch all day, every day would be a pretty awesome thing to do. It could drive you a little nuts. It's a pain in the ass, but there's nothing I can do. I just have to sit here because it hurts when I walk around. But I don't want to rush back or to try and get my foot back and then it stuffs up again. I have to get surgery to fuse my foot, and it sort of fucks me up for life after footy. So I've got other things I really need to think about as well. I want to be able to walk around and not be 40 and have a cooked foot and can't really do anything. So I'm looking forward to getting the surgery done so it actually gets fixed, so I can move around a little bit. What can I do? I know people want to know what's going on and people like to speculate, but I still don't know until the surgery gets done, whether it's going to be 3 months, 6 months, career ending or whatever it is. So until then, people can speculate all they want, but we'll just play it by ear. Someone's going to be right out there because they've said everything, so someone's going to look like a genius, but we'll just have to wait and see. So in the meantime, I guess, it'll give me a chance to actually sit down and actually see if I miss footy and want to be a part of it. When you're in it and you're going, it just goes so quickly. You don't really have any time to sit down and just try and enjoy the game for what it is, and hopefully it brings back, some passion for footy, what I used to have. I completely miss this. I might just go, what, I don't miss it one bit, so, I might as well give it up. The passion's not there, but, like I said, on the other hand, it might be, nah, fuck, I don't want to finish like this. If I want to play next year and this year's a write-off because of my foot, it's the decision's not completely up to me. The powers above me might say, we think this is a good time to bow out, or we see people ahead of you now, or whatever the reason for whatever reason they might say no. Well, would I accept it or not? Whether I believed it, I would accept it, yeah. But whether I believed it or not, I'm not sure. But I would accept it. There's nothing I could do. I'll shake their hands and go, thanks for the ride. It's been a fun one. I'm off and walk off into the sunset and have myself a little party. It might be hard for the first day or two or week, whatever it is, but in the end, I'll be able to move on, mate. We they're both in Richmond. Now I've been here for quite a while. I've come to like one of these things, so I've asked if I can take one home. I haven't eaten or drank anything for 23 hours now. But apart from that, I'm fine. Looking forward to getting over and done with, so I can eat something.
How you going?
Yeah, not bad, man.
Most talked about footy.
Yeah, just about, eh?
This can be a pretty painful procedure.
Yeah.
So I'll just pop a little drip in for you.
Yeah.
You're not going to tell me you've got a needle phobia?
No, man, that'll be pretty alright, or an oxymoron or whatever.
Are you right-handed or lefty?
Lefty. I don't do much writing, mate. I don't get worried, nah. Mum, dad and partner probably get a bit more worried than I do. If I don't come out under surgery, I'm not going to remember it, am I? So it won't really bother me because I'll be dead. So I'm not going to know any different. So it doesn't really bother me. But I don't know what the odds are of dying in a surgery, but I don't think they'd be too high. Otherwise, people wouldn't be getting them done. So I'll be okay. I hope. If not, this would be pretty freaky. It'll be my last interview. So a good premonition if I do go down. But I would like to think I won't.
See you out the other side.
Hope so.
In my mind, as I've told Dane, this sort of injury is massive, you know, and I look after a lot of them. I tell all my patients that they're definitely getting 2 operations, and a lot of them get 3. They look at me and go, "What do you mean?" I said, "Well, I put the plates in, we fix it, then I take the plates out, and then often they need to go back in again when we fuse it." You know, the patients kind of appreciate the severity of the injury and stuff, and as I said to Dane, that's his worst case scenario. It's not the end of the world, and if he's willing to take that risk that this fails early and stuff, if it does, that's what he ends up with. It's not the end of the world. It's not as if, you know, he's got 10 years ahead of him in terms of football and stuff, and we want to, you know, look after that. And that's the risk he's going to, you know, obviously think about, consider with his how he's going and with his, you know, the year and career and everything.
The morning after, well, yeah, it was alright. He just said everything was alright. Come back and see me in a week. So everything went as well as could possibly go, which was obviously positive news. So that was about it. So it was time to go home. I thought this might have been my last year, but you know, that was before I played a game. That was, you know, during pre-season where, you know, you sort of hate pre-season, but once you start playing games you love, you know, that's the one thing I've always loved doing is playing games. So at the moment, I honestly don't know what's going to happen. So I may be forced to finish with my foot, but right now I'm just worried about getting this as good as I can for not only hopefully the back end of this year and, you know, possibly next year, but the rest of my life.
What's going on?
How have you been?
Yeah, good. Mate, how you feeling?
Yeah, killing it.
This is a session we've got planned today.
Yeah.
It's pretty stationary. Just trying to get you back into the swing of things and take some baby steps forward and get you going.
Should be a hoot.
I'm trying to come back this year a lot quicker than someone who wasn't playing AFL or elite level sport would come back. So I'm trying to like halve the time, but I think we're just going to leave the pins and screws in while I try and come back, and then if they break, I think we just fuse the foot together, but that's something that probably will have to happen later on in life anyway. So yeah, I'm aware of the risks, and in the end I'll just be guided by how my foot feels and the pain levels that I have, and what exactly I can and can't do once I start moving around on it. If I was 21, 22, I think the rehab process would be a lot different for me because I've got 10 years left ahead of me, when I think we all know I've only got a couple of years left. So I'm just going to try and come back as quick as possible without, I guess, really hurting myself. I'm going to try and run in that a bit early and jog, and then I'll just be guided on the pain. If I feel okay, just keep stepping it up. And if not, well, at least I know I've tried it and tried to come back, and then whatever happens this year, I'll reassess for next year.
How many of these?
8.
Oh, God.
got any abs either at the minute, mate. So.
Good job. Thanks, mate.
You never know. Like when I'm not told that I have to do something, I might actually I might run a bit more, or when it's on your own time for fun, you don't have to fucking run all the time, or you never know. I'll probably have a year off of whenever I finish and just get my body right then. As lazy as I think I am, I think I will do something. Not sure CrossFit's for me, but I'll definitely do something. Pretty much all I can do is just take my moon boot off and he'll just manipulate my foot, move it around for, I don't know, 10, 20 minutes or something. And I'll get the moon boot off and get into a shoe with an orthotic and pretty much learn to walk again. I've always played for myself and for my family and my parents, to make them proud of me. So, you know, they probably love it more than I do. So, to play for them and obviously to help the side succeed, if I think I can play a role in getting the footy club back to where it belongs, if I think I can play at an elite level again, if I don't think I can do that because of my foot or for whatever reason, well, you know, I'll give it away. About 3 months from now is when I'll know a bit more, when I'll start to actually jog and move around and see how my foot feels. So that's when the big test will come. I'm not fearing life after footy. Once you get to 29, 30, you should start to mentally prepare yourself for life after footy. And I have, and it's something that I don't fear. It's something I'm really looking forward to. So, and whether that's end of this year or end of next year or whenever it is, I'll be ready for it. Hey mate, what's going on? Oh, aren't we all? Yeah. Hey mate, what's happening? I've wasted a lot of my money, but I think I've used some of it half wisely. So I'm in not a bad position for life after footy, but in saying that, I know I'm not silly enough to think that I can just kick my feet up and retire on the money that I've made and the decisions and the investments that I've made, you know, during my football career. Got this business, which is going well. The pub, which is obviously not going super well at the minute. And my clothing label, Wrap Bag, which I'll be able to put some more time and effort into when I'm done. But so I got those 3 things, but I've slowly been putting things in place, and yeah, these are going really well. And also the things that I enjoy being here and being around the guys. Obviously the pub, I'll spend a lot of time in there before. I had a share in it. Now I have a share, and I'll have to spend just an equal amount of time that I did previously. And the clothing label, I have a passion for that too, so it's good to get away and forget about footy and forget about the stresses of playing well or playing poorly or you know, getting your body right. It's a good little break to come around and just be around other people who don't really care about footy, which is a good thing, and just be a normal sort of everyday person instead of being that AFL footballer that everyone expects you and wants you to be 24 hours a day. If I didn't have all of this, I would have wasted a lot more money than what I have now. So that's another reason why I did it, to stop me from spending, because I'm not bad at it. The lights are still on at home, mate, and I can pay the bills, but you know, that's where it is at the moment. Come back to me in 5 years and I'll let you know whether I'm sleeping under a cardboard box or, you know, my 4th house. Much rather be playing footy, but in a way it hasn't been a bad thing that it's kind of showed me life after footy. If I'd have played all year then just finished, you know, the routine stops and then I'm just out on my own. You know, it's something that I'm ready for and looking forward to, not having a routine. With the footy club, you get told exactly where you have to be, when you have to be for, you know, 46 weeks of the year. I'm probably a lot more sensible this year when I haven't been playing footy, because when you do play footy, you look at this calendar and you go, right, we've got a Friday night into a Saturday, so that weekend I'm just going to drink as much as I can, and then you just have a bender. But when you're not playing, you don't have to look at the calendar. It's probably going to go the other way. As a general rule, this year I haven't been playing footy. I haven't been going on heaps of benders. It's just a lot more time with friends and family and doing it over the whole weekend instead of just going as hard as I can for as long as I can, then sleeping for 2 days. Stressing isn't a thing that I do an awful lot of, so I think I'll be fine either way. I actually don't know. I'll let you know once I'm finished.
Lovely little boy, lots of fun, a little bit mischievous, but you know, a good kid. Really had no problems with him whatsoever. I suppose the worst thing, now looking at hindsight, it wasn't bad, but his mate and him were turning 15 and they decided to have a party, and there were people, kids coming from everywhere. It did end up in a bit of a ruckus, and we had the police and ambulance, but that was entrepreneurial because he was charging $2 to get in. So.
All right, we know where Swanee's going to be, don't we? He's done it all year, be smart. He'll do his job, but he needs the backing up too.
He started playing footy when he was about 10. Our background, it was all, pretty much footy, because I was still playing footy then, and we sort of thought if you're playing sport, you're not, getting into trouble so we always thought that was a good path to go down.
Tries to tap it down to Dane Swan. Dane Swan's got it on the boundary line. It's his back, kicks from the boundary line, bit of a check side kick, and it's gone through. Yes, he's kicked West Meadows' 3rd goal.
Then went and trained with the Cannons, kept improving, and started playing with the under-18 team, which was probably a bit of a surprise actually. But yeah, he just kept improving.
It probably was never on the agenda that, in my mind, at least, that Dane would play AFL football. They have these meetings at school and they say what you'd be suited for, so they said Dane would be a good funeral director. So there you go, he might have been a funeral director.
Young working hard to Swan, and Swan has gold.
Well, he's the man that I think I would be prepared to give the votes to. He's been terrific, Dane Swan.
He really got drafted off the back of 3 finals games. He played really well in the finals.
I spoke to him in the lead up to the draft and told him that there was no schoolies, mate. Told his dad that. Anyway, so I was at the draft, I rang him, and he said he wasn't going. I rang him and couldn't get onto him. I got onto his dad and he said, he's up in Queensland, he's on the Gold Coast at schoolies. I said, seriously, Bill, I thought we told him he wasn't supposed to go.
I was at work actually, just listening to it at work, and so he was up there and he wasn't coming home.
Picked up the phone and someone said, it's Eddie Maguire here. And I said, yeah, sure it is. And I just went to hang up. He goes, no, please, it is.
Oh, he was excited. I think, I don't think he was expecting it. That's why I think he went, because even though we told him not to go, I think he deep down thought, well, it's not going to happen this year. He wasn't even watching it. He was up there with his mates. So, no, he was good. He got himself together and obviously got back and then started training. He didn't muck around.
Still remember when he first arrived at the club and he was introduced to the rest of the playing group. I think they asked what he'd been up to, and he was, been on schoolies week to the Gold Coast, and that's why he didn't arrive to training on time.
That's when I tapped Taz on the shoulder and I said, we'll probably be mates with this kid.
Johnson comes back and eventually the goal is kicked at about the 18th attempt by Swan.
Son of Billy Swan, Dane Swan gets his 2nd.
When he went to Collingwood, he was that far behind the rest of the pack. It wasn't funny. If you look at him then, he was a skinny kid. He'd come from playing under 16s at West Meadows to 18 months later he's training at Collingwood. We went down the wrong path. He wasn't training how he should have and going out with his mates when he probably shouldn't have been.
I think he would be the first to say that probably over the first 3 years he was still living the West Meadows life. He was always very smart on the football field, but he was a little bit wild off it, and so there was those first 3 or 4 years knocking the edges off him a bit, I guess.
Well, I heard the normal stuff. I was working at the Herald Sun at the time. You'd hear stories about certain players, and Swanee often featured in those stories. I'm sure there were periods when the Collingwood board looked at whether it was worth keeping Swanee.
I remember coming in to a meeting at Collingwood with Dane and his dad, and he was basically going to be sacked over an incident at Federation Square back in the day, and he'd been involved in a bit of a scuffle, had a very minor part to play, but the club basically were going to sack him, so we had to fight pretty hard to get him to give him another opportunity, and Mick was probably the driver to that. It was a pretty savage meeting, and Swanee, I guess, from there sharpened up a bit.
Mick basically said to him, I think the back end of one of his seasons, that was either make or break for Swanee.
He was pretty much at the crossroads, and we actually didn't think he was going to survive, but he got that chance, and he just started to work hard, and then after that you survive if you play good footy. If he wasn't playing good footy, you don't survive. It's simple as that.
We all take that optimistic view that this bloke's just too good to let go, and we'd have to sort of try to harness his wayward traits.
I think he was like a lot of other guys, except the footy started to play. He started to get a lot more attention. When you're getting that much attention, you can't get away with a lot, and that's why he got caught a couple of times.
Probably for the amount of trouble he's been in, he's probably got off quite lightly. I mean, there's probably a lot of things that the media don't know about him, which is probably a good thing.
It's funny because when you first see his photo on the front of the paper, you go, beauty, well, look at this, my son's on the front of the paper. But then after he's been on the front of the paper for about 10 times, you get sick of it. Every time you open up the paper, you dread that his photo's going to be in the paper, and some of the rubbish that they go on with.
The fact that I think there was certainly an agenda driven by one newspaper, in particular about Dane, meant that any small thing he did was made into a big thing, and I think it's just totally unfair.
He had some haters. You're going out, who cares? You're doing what any 18 or 30-year-old's doing every weekend. That's all it was.
You always defend the people that you love, but also I just think it's so absurd that they're such superstars, but then also people feel that they just have the right to say whatever they want and do whatever they want to them, and no one's held accountable.
I just felt it was an agenda-driven attack on Dane, and I don't think there was any basis for it. And that was where I was really disappointed in the way that reporting was. But Dane himself brushes that stuff off.
No, I think deep down it does get to him. I think it would have to.
You can't read horrible things about yourself all the time and being told that you're this bad person until I think like at some stage you might start believing it. Like that's human nature. That's not being a football player. That's just being a human.
His way of dealing with things was turn up on the weekend and actually go out there and play his best footy, and he generally did.
I basically had to teach him that you can go out and you can party hard, but you have to train hard as well. And he worked that out, and he's probably done it better than anyone I've ever seen.
You can't be as good as he is without busting your guts every week. I mean, no one flukes a career that he's had. So whilst he might outwardly, footy's not everything to him, you get him on match day, he's an animal like most competitors are. So he'll do what he has to do to get to the ground, and when he gets to the game, and he gives you everything.
People think he doesn't really care about his footy, but he does, he really does.
Luzo's got the run here, and he takes the mark. He slipped out in the back, just too clever. Too clever for Dane Swanee's opponent.
Very early in his career, we played against Melbourne.
Adam Uzo kicked 4 or 5 goals on him, and Melbourne got back in the game and won the game.
I think Mick Malthouse has to make a change.
I've gone in after the game and said, "Oh, good game, mate." Well, he's just, he's got quite upset, not at me, but just visibly upset that, I've had a shocking game, and so he does care, but I was just being the motherly thing, good game.
There's so many important times during games that he would stand up, so pride in his performance was one of the things that, you don't play for so long without having that.
He's in a lot of pain. He doesn't stay down like that.
He's hard, Swanee. He doesn't show when he's hurt.
It's funny, you remember things. I was in Kyneton, so we're watching the game, obviously. It's a Saturday night. And the first time he goes for the ball, I watched it, and I looked again, and I thought, that's not good. And I just immediately thought, that's a serious injury.
When he didn't get straight up, I thought something's happened here. And then when they showed it, slow motion, it looked really bad.
But I could see by the look on his face, I said to him, he's broken his leg or something, because it's the pain he's going through. So
later on, Dane rang us and said he's not in a good way.
I texted him straight away and I said, "Mate, how are you? How's the leg?" And he was texting back, which was quite funny. And he said that looks like he'd broken his bone in his leg and in his foot. So I think that was a bit of a shock to me, but in Swanee's true sense of style, he said to me, "Are you still going to Europe during the middle of the year, because I'm coming.
I looked at my phone and I had like 25 messages and missed calls from everyone. And I looked at a message and someone said, "Oh my God, is he okay?" And I just panicked, and then I called him. There's not much you can do in a situation like that. I asked if he was okay, if he needed me to fly up, and he just knew that he'd really hurt himself and that it was going to be a pretty big recovery ahead.
I would be surprised if we saw him in 2017, because it's such a big injury, the stage of life he's at. But I also have another thing that I've never wavered from, is that not too many people walk away from big pay packets. If he is told by the doctor that his leg's okay, he would be tempted to do it. But it seems like it's a much more serious injury than what we first thought.
You worry immediately when you hear feet, and when you look at the X-ray, it's like, wow, this is bad.
You just think like, oh, what if we have kids down the line? Will he be able to pick them up? Will he be able to get up and downstairs? Things like that start ringing out in your head. There's a lot of things that we will never be able to do together, just because his body's, his ankle is fused and his wrists are fused, so there's just things that won't happen. The type of person he is and the type of player that he is, he would just run his body into the ground, and so like maybe he just needed to be physically stopped to listen to his body and say, this might be enough.
If he gives it away this year, I must admit, it will be sad that he's finished this way.
The romantic in all of us says we want to see the good players finish on their terms.
Yeah, it's quite funny when you think Swanee's still here. After all the things that have gone on, you see people come and go, and different coaches come and go, but he's outlasted everyone.
If he walks into the sunset, I think we can all sit back and go, well, we've watched a pretty remarkable career from a guy that at early days no one expected, and at the middle of his career he's the best player in the AFL.
I don't think you're ever going to see another one like him. I don't think anyone's stupid enough to get that many tattoos, for starters.
He's been a genuinely elite AFL footballer, and I think one of the greats of modern Collingwood.
He'll be a Collingwood superstar forever. He'll be in the same conversation of Tony Shaw, as Bucks, as all those great players that went before him.
He's probably a legend of the footy club, which is, it's not easy to achieve, but he has achieved that. So, and he's done it his way. So,
yeah, I think that says it. He's done it his way. So, yeah, we're very, very proud parents.
I don't think he'd ever be a normal person, but no, I want him to do whatever he wants to do, whatever makes him happy. If sticking around the football club makes him happy, or going into media makes him happy, then that's exactly what I want him to do, because it's his life.
To be honest, I don't really think he knows what he's going to do. The main thing is that his foot's right. It's no point coming back and playing for another season and getting another 10 or 15 games out and his foot's not going to be any good. The main thing is that he's happy.
How's it all feeling?
Yeah, it feels alright, mate. Can walk pretty much normally now. It's a bit stiff in the mornings, and if I've sat down on the couch with Kelly, I was watching telly or whatever it is, especially in bare feet, I sort of cheat a bit and my foot still points out and still have a little bit of a loser's limp. But
what sort of work have you been doing on it?
Pretty much all cross training is fine. Bike, swimming, weights, or certain weights obviously. I'm starting to do some leg weights.
And no running yet, we're just working up to that now and maybe looking at that in the future.
Well, that's what I was thinking, is it just guided by pain now? Or?
Yeah, so we'll push on with that in a sec.
Yeah.
Just take your shoes and socks off. I'll just have a little look at your walking and your foot movement, if that's all right. It's great.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, you're moving well, not even without a limp at the moment.
Yeah.
Just turn around and face me. Great. And stand up on your tiptoes and down again. Can you do one leg like that?
Yeah, but
your balance isn't quite there.
It's nowhere like that. I can go up. Just feel. So I just got no balance and the strength.
Just sit back on the other chair there in the middle.
Just feels weak. It doesn't so much necessarily hurt. It doesn't feel like I can.
Great. And very stiff through the middle, as we'd expect, with those plates still fixing it. So that's good. We haven't got any new X-rays yet today, which I think we'll get afterwards, and I'll have a look at them. 3 months down the track now, you're going really well.
They're obviously intraoperative x-rays where we've removed the wires since then, but the plates and screws should be holding all this nicely, and that's why you're feeling a bit stiff through the midfoot.
Yeah.
But you're well ahead of what I would expect at this stage in terms of your rehab.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good thing now we push on.
Yeah.
I think when you first had the injury, we had this discussion about trying to fight back and get back quickly this year or not. I think with you know, that where the club is at the moment in terms of their position, it's a reasonable thing that we put your foot ahead of that. And
well, even if I was completely fine now, it'd take me 6 weeks before I could play seniors, and that'll be the end of the year. So
so we'll decide that this year's gone and just get you right as best we can in preparation for next year, if possible. Have you got any questions?
No, not really. It's just all just guided by pain, which is good to know.
So we'll get the x-rays done today. I'll have a look at them online and give you a call tomorrow. And I'll see you again in about 8 to 9 weeks' time. We'll get some new x-rays and plan to remove the plates and screws in.
Yeah, cool. Sounds good, mate.
All right.
Thanks, mate.
Great to see you.
Cheers.
Catch you tonight, mates. Cheers.
The only thing is really stopping is now pain. All the screws now are in there pretty tight, so now it's just how I'll go with pain. So I'll probably start trying to jog, run in the next, I don't know, 2-3 weeks, I guess. Obviously this season's out. It's good that I can sort of relax now, but know that it's firmly about getting my foot right and then trying to run so I can make a decision on next year. I just want to know one way or the other now whether I'm playing or not, so I can either make plans for life after footy or I can get ready for another year of footy. So over the next couple of months, start running and try and kick, which I obviously haven't kicked yet, which is probably be a reasonably big milestone for me, because at the moment in my head it feels like it's going to smash all the bones in my foot when I kick something, but I've been reassured that that's not going to happen and it's fine. It's just a matter of whether it's going to hurt or not. So it's all mental, just ticking off goals. 6 weeks ago I never thought I'd be able to walk again because of the pain I was in. Now I can walk properly. It's just ticking off little goals. If I think my foot can get through a year pain-free of seeing footy, which I obviously know what it entails, that I'll go on, but if there's a little doubt there that I don't think I can, I won't. So I'm not going through another year where I'm in lots of pain and I start resenting being at the footy club because I just can't get it out of my body what I want.
What's going on with you, please? You look like you're just lurking around, got the torn jeans and the beanie happening.
Found my way to the MCG, mate. I've been here all year, so it's nice to reacquaint myself with it.
Dane, when will you make your mind up on next season?
I'll before the end of the year's out. Yeah, before
the footy season.
Yeah. To be fair to the footy club as well, I'm not going to hang around till October, and then they obviously have to make list management decisions, and obviously I'm not going to play for nothing.
We love a time frame, as you know, in the media. So before round 23, you'll make your mind up.
Yeah.
There's also a psychological element involved here. Do you still enjoy playing as much as you did when you started?
Well, I think it ebbs and flows. There's clearly times where you don't enjoy it, and then there's times where you do. I guess the one thing I've always loved about AFL is game day, and the ability to sort of express yourself out there and just run around and get the footy is something I've always loved, and I will always love whether I'm playing out here or playing West Meadows or wherever I'm playing. So, but like I said, it does ebb and flow, and the love of the game probably has waned a bit, but once you've done it for 15 years, I think it's only human.
Do you still get pain?
Like now when it's cold, right, it aches and stuff, but because I've been sitting down for a while, then it gets cold. But once I'm moving around, it's sort of okay.
But are you feeling it's going to come good? I heard you on the radio today. You feel that it's going to get...
Yeah, I hope so, yeah.
It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, I hope so, yeah. So I'll speak to the surgeon again before I make a decision and go from there. Good. Thanks, mate. I know I have the ability to still play at the top level if my foot was all right, but in the end, I had to make a decision on life after footy, and the decision that I come to was my foot couldn't stand another year. I haven't spoken in front of the boys and stuff yet. That might be the hard part, looking at the blokes that you share more with them in your life than anyone else while you're playing footy, so that'll be the hard part.
Yeah, boys, it's obviously a bit different standing up here and not apologising for my behaviour on my weekends. What I'm used to at the front of meetings, but it'll be the last time you have to hear from me, I guess. I'm obviously retiring. My foot, I would like to have gone on, but in the end, I got to do what's best for me and the rest of my life. So that's it, I'm done. Yeah, it's obviously been a pretty good 14, 15 years, whatever it is. I've had a great time, met some great people. It's probably the one thing, obviously, apart from the premiership, that I take away from footy the most is the unbelievable people I've met. Pretty disappointed that I can't go on and help you, get to where you want to go next year, but in the end, I have to do what's right for me, and I'm pretty comfortable in my decision, and I hope you all get what you want out of your career. I certainly did. Like Buck said, I probably did it my way. Try not to follow most of the shit that I did, but as long as you can leave the game whenever you do, content and happy, like I have, I'm sure you'll be fine. So thanks for having me, and that's it. Thanks very much, and I'll see you around.
When I say doing it your way, it's a credit to you. You've got great pride. When you pulled the Guernsey on, I reckon all of your teammates knew exactly what they were going to get from you on match day. The blokes that have played with you love you, and you never let them down on the footy field, mate, so there's probably not much more you can say. Congratulations for a fantastic career, and make sure that you somehow sit back and enjoy the accolades that are coming your way. Eventually, mate, you'll sail off into the sunset. You've been an icon for the club, and you'll continue to be in its future, and I said the boys left a legacy. I reckon you've left yours, mate, so congratulations, well done.
Thanks, mate. Thanks, mate. Cheers. Thanks, mate. Thanks, mate. Thanks, mate. Cheers. Thanks very much. Yeah, sweet.
Keep me here, my heart is near, my love has gone away. And tell me true, my heart is new, my love has gone away.
Pretty big crowd for a one-year deal, isn't it? Yeah, thanks for that. But yeah, obviously my time's up, so yeah, I'm retiring. That's the big announcement. So thanks for coming, and we'll see you later. I was trying to fight the decision a lot in my head. I've probably known for a while that I don't think I could play, but in my heart I wanted to go on. But I think my head knew that I couldn't go on. So I'd rather die a hero than live long enough to become the villain. So I'd much rather go out sort of on top.
He's one of the greatest players in the history of this club. He's the player of his generation. But to walk out of here as a bloke who did it his way, who was loved from the president to the cheer squad, to the boot stutter, to his teammates, to his captains, to his coach, is something that's quite spectacular.
I just said, Dane, if you're happy, we're happy, mate. He's got to think of his health, and he can move on to the next phase of his life with him and Taylor, so hopefully that'll be great for them too.
How would I like to be remembered? I don't know, someone who gave their all and just enjoyed being around his mates. It's a very selfish game, and I guess, you know, we don't make any apologies for that because, you know, we're playing at the top level, and, you know, that's just the way it is. The support, you know, obviously, you know, my family, Taylor, you know, my cousins and that are here as well. No words that I could, you know, think of right now that could do it any justice, but I would hopefully think they all know what they've meant to me, and you know, who knows what would happen if I didn't have the support of such a loving family. So can't thank them enough, and I'm looking forward to spending obviously a lot more time with them now that I'm retired.
Someday I'm gonna be with you. It's okay, I know someday I'm gonna be with you.